According to the National Missing and Unidentified Person System, there are approximately 90,000 missing persons in the United States at any given time. With the advancement of modern detective work and advanced scientific methods, such as genealogy testing, the vast majority of missing person cases end up being solved today. Even so, sometimes investigators just aren't able to provide enough conclusive evidence to put the pieces together on some of these cases, and they go unsolved. There have been some devastating, very suspicious missing persons cases in recent times that definitely fall into this category. Throughout history, though, all around the world, certain missing person cases have left investigators and families struggling to find answers. When there is little evidence to no evidence and no eyewitnesses, missing persons cases tragically end up being closed and unsolved. Come with us as we walk through some of the most puzzling and tragic missing persons cases throughout history all around the globe. To have a person vanish out of thin air is extremely disturbing, but to have bizarre events surrounding the disappearance can make the situation even more unsettling. This list compiles 10 of the most unsettling disappearances that have occurred. Number 10. Jackie Sutton. Jackie Sutton was a passionate former BBC journalist who was working for War and Peace reporting to help local journalists in war-torn areas. 50-year-old Jackie Sutton had landed in Turkey from her London flight around 10 p.m. in October of 2015. Her connecting flight to Erbil, Iraq, was scheduled to leave at 12:15 a.m. It was said that Jackie had spent some time in the cafe leisurely drinking a beer and reportedly fell asleep. At around 12:30, Jackie walked up to the counter in no apparent distress, only to be told that she had missed her flight. It said that she suddenly started crying, saying that she had no money to pay for another flight, but was told that there is nothing that could be done. From there, the story takes a very odd turn. Jackie was seen entering the bathroom a few minutes later. 2 Russian women are seen coming out of the bathroom visibly panicked. This is because they found the body of Jackie Sutton after she had committed suicide in a bathroom stall. While some have come to terms with the suicide, others believe that there had to be foul play. Many of her friends say she was an extremely happy and passionate person who would never have taken her own life, especially over something as trivial as missing a connecting flight. Even more mysteriously, it was found that Sutton actually had 2,300 euros in her bag, which would go against the fact that she said she didn't have enough money to buy another ticket. She had spoken out previously about fear of being targeted by the Islamic State, as her predecessor, Amal al-Shabander, was killed in a car bomb in Baghdad in May of 2015. Number 9. The Toronto Trio. The body of Philip Sitt was found in a wooded area of York region on August 9, 2006, after disappearing in September of 2005. His killer was never found. What is so odd about this case is not just Philip's disappearance, but also the disappearance of his 3 friends, Eve Ho, Kevin Lim, Jackie Lai, and that occurred August 14, 2006. Eve Ho had arranged to meet up with her best friend at the Eaton Center, but never showed up. Jackie Lai was last seen by her mother when he left the Scarborough apartment to go to work in the morning. He called her later that day, but that is the last she's ever heard from her son. Kevin Lim was last seen by his grandmother as he went to the store to buy a drink. Eve and Jackie were dating at the time, and Kevin was Eve's childhood friend, but all three were friends of Philip. What makes this disappearance even more odd is that Philip's murder was made public on August 25th, 11 days after the trio disappeared. The three are not considered suspects in Sit's murder, and no leads have been given to their disappearances. Number 8. Craig Fillar. Craig Fillar was a well-built 17-year-old high school soccer player that vanished after walking into the woods on July 27, 2004. That day, Craig had been at the Cambridge Manor Apartments where his girlfriend lived. His mother Veronica had gone to see Craig at Price Chopper, where he was working, but when she got there, she was told that Craig had just stopped showing up a while back. Confused, Veronica was able to get a hold of Craig to ask him about what was going on. Craig had told her that he would be home to talk with her about it, but went to the Cambridge Manor Apartments instead. Two middle school boys last spotted him at 2 p.m. on July 27, 2004. He was walking along a railroad track. It is reported that he put his finger to his lips as to make a shh gesture before walking into the woods and disappearing forever. Over 500 interviews have since been conducted with countless searches, and no leads or evidence has ever surfaced. Number 7. Timothy Pitzen. Amy Fry Pitzen took her 6-year-old son, Timothy, out to the Greenman Elementary School on May 11, 2011, for a family emergency. 3 days later, his mother's body was found in a hotel room in Illinois, dead from an apparent suicide. With her body, a note was found stating that Timothy was safe with people who would care for him, and that you'll never find him. Timothy was never seen or heard from again. His father, Jim Pitzen, has no idea where Timothy could be, but he hopes that he is safe. Amy had suffered from depression and previous suicide attempts, but nothing had ever indicated that she was going to disappear and take Timothy with her. Records show that she made several short phone calls from an unknown location. One call was to her mother, who spoke with both Amy and Timothy, neither appearing to be in any distress. Surveillance video and receipts chronicled what the two had done in the 3 days before Amy's suicide. They were seen having fun and visiting zoos and water parks. On Friday, May 13th, the day before Amy was found dead, however, she was seen visiting a grocery store in Winnebago, Illinois, without Timothy. His location is still unknown. Number 6. Iwana Wieczorek. In 2010, Iwana Wieczorek was a recent high school graduate planning to take a vacation to Spain while waiting to hear back from the university she had applied to. On the night of July 16, 2010, she went to a party with her friends at one of their places. Later that night, she went to a club in Sopot with her friend Adria and 3 boys she had gotten to know only a month prior. She was supposed to stay at the first party but decided to go to the club instead. While at the party, there was an argument between the 5. Though no one knows what the argument was about, Iwana was seen running out of the club visibly upset and going towards the seaside promenade. She did not have any money with her and her phone battery was running low. Once sunrise began around 4 a.m., she began the 4-mile journey home through the seaside boulevard, barefoot because her feet hurt from her new heels. On her way home, she texted Adria, saying that she was angry that Adria didn't follow her out of the club. Adria later said that Iwana called her and said that they settled the argument. A few minutes after 4, she called Adria for the last time to tell her that her phone battery was dying, where she was at, and that she was a bit drunk and she was headed to Adria's house. She said she didn't want to meet Adria's mom drunk, but Adria said her parents weren't home and that she would leave the keys outside for Iwana to come in. Adria had almost made it back to her house when talking to Iwana and was walking past Iwana's apartment. It was reported that Iwana's stepfather heard Adria and Iwana speaking because she said that she had the phone on speaker. Surveillance footage at the Jedikowo beach shows Iwana walking and an identified man in a plaid shirt walking behind her with a towel on his shoulder. Investigators are now convinced that he didn't have anything to do with her disappearance. It's most likely that Iwana made it to the area she lived, but never reached Adria's or her house. That morning, her mother thought she was at Adria's, but Adria thought she went home because the keys were untouched. By 5 p.m. on July 17th, Adria and Iwana's family came to the terrifying conclusion that Iwana had disappeared. The police have since questioned over 100 people and have offered a $1 million Polish zloty award, which is about $270,000, but nothing from Iwana has ever been found. Number 5. Brandon Lawson. Brandon Lawson was a 26-year-old father of 4 from Texas who made a chilling 911 call in the early morning hours of August 9th, 2013. He had apparently run out of gas near Bronte, Texas, and began walking in the fields along Highway 277. In the 911 call, he can be heard saying, "Yes, I'm in the middle of a field. Push some guys over. Right here going towards Abilene on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. The guy's chasing me to the woods. Please hurry." The operator then asked him if he needed an ambulance, and his final words were, "No, I need the cops." During the call, he is clearly distressed and panicked, but no one is sure exactly what happened to him that night. Since the night he disappeared, there has been no cell phone or bank activity in any of his accounts. Number 4. Robert Hourhand. Robert Hourhand is a 33-year-old man from Virginia who left his house at 6 a.m. on April 8th, 2011 to his job as electrician for the state. 2 hours later, his wife's co-worker said that she had seen Hourhand's white Chevy Cavalier with the license plate TARAMAE heading north on the SR-53, completely out of the way. Worried, his wife Tara called his phone but repeatedly got his voicemail. He had never returned her call, out of character because he would always alert her when he had a scheduling issue. He never returned home and has not been seen since. Former co-workers did see him eating breakfast at the E.W. Thomas grocery store in Palmyra around 8 a.m., but that was the last time he was seen. What is even more odd is that Ariane was not even scheduled to work that day, but he left his house in his full uniform. 7 weeks later, his Chevy Cavalier was found in a Target parking lot in La Plata, Maryland, with all of his expensive tools still in the car. Police learned that he planned to meet someone in Palmyra that day but never arrived. Hourhand was diagnosed with a heart condition, which he took daily medication for. He had missed his dose, and there is no indication that the prescription was ever refilled. But his doctor said he would have died in a week without it. To this day, the police are no closer to solving the case than they were in 2011, and he has yet to be seen or heard from. Number 3. Kailyn Lowder. Kailyn Lowder was a 30-year-old social worker from Utah who was planning to spend her September 2014 weekend updating her resume and cleaning out her condo. In the afternoon, Kailyn was caught on surveillance taking her pug Phyllis for a walk. The next time she was seen on surveillance footage, Lowder is seen sprinting out of her home in the rain completely barefoot without any belongings. This was the last time anyone heard from her. The previous night it was reported that Lowder had made an odd 911 call, stating that there was a brutal fight going on in the clubhouse at her condo that involved guns. But when police arrived, it was a calm wedding reception. An hour later, she called 911 and abruptly hung up. When dispatchers called back, she told them that her friend had said that she was being delusional and paranoid. The morning of her disappearance, she had made another 911 call to say that there was an intruder in her home and she could hear two people talking, even though her roommate said that the door was deadbolted and no one else was there. Weeks after her disappearance, a body was found floating in the Jordan River that was identified as Kailyn Lowder. Unfortunately, the autopsy was inconclusive. Number 2. Lars Maack. I've covered this case before in one of my first videos. Not much has come to light. He still is missing, but there has been supposed sightings of him all over the place. So in July of 2014, it started out like any other summer break for 28-year-old Lars of Germany as he went to spend time with his friends at Golden Sands in Bulgaria. Golden Sands was known as a popular party spot for young people from Germany and England. Partying on the beach, he got into a fistfight over football with some other tourists. Maack sustained a ruptured eardrum and was advised by his doctor not to fly until it healed. During that time, Maack got a room in a hostel located at the poorer part of town and told his friends to go back to Germany without him. After spending a night in the hostel, Maack became extremely scared and paranoid. His mother received a panicked text from him stating that he didn't feel safe and that she should cancel his credit card, and that 4 mysterious men were following him. The doctors confirmed that Lars had gone to his office the next day, but when he arrived, Lars immediately jumped up and ran out. He soon went to the airport and is seen on surveillance walking through the airport with his luggage. Suddenly he walks off screen, then is seen sprinting the other direction out of the airport without his bags, jumping over the fence and disappearing into the forest. He was never seen again. His family confirmed that he didn't suffer from any mental illness, and they have no idea why their son would begin acting in such a bizarre and erratic manner. A massive search was launched to find Lars, but so far it has become unsuccessful. Number 1. Juan Martinez. It was June 25th, 1986 at 6 a.m. as a Volvo F12 truck carrying pure sulfuric acid came barreling down the Sorak mountain pass in Madrid, Spain. The truck began passing other trucks so close that he knocked the mirror off one. Suddenly he reached a third truck, and instead of passing it, he pushed it from behind until it was forced off the road. It had become apparent to the other drivers that the Volvo's brakes were not working. Suddenly, the Volvo smashed into an oncoming truck going close to 87 miles per hour, causing it to overturn and spill its sulfuric acid contents out all over the road. Rescue working come to find a man and woman in a cabin of the first truck dead and covered in the acid. They immediately began rescuing the other drivers and pouring sand and lime on the acid to neutralize it. After 3 hours of work, they were able to identify the bodies of Lars Martinez, the owner of the vehicle, and his wife, Kailyn Gomez, who was frequently accompanied him on his road trips. That afternoon, a call is placed to Carmen's mother in Murka, informing her of the tragedy. To everyone's surprise, she replies with, "And the boy? Please tell me the boy is all right." Juan Pedro Martinez was the 10-year-old only child of Andres and Carmen. He had accompanied his father on trips before, but never one this long. His father had promised to bring him on his trip to Basque if he got good grades, and Juan did just that. Andres then had his wife come with him on the trip to watch Juan as he unloaded the truck. Then they would leave for vacation in Basque for a few days. At 7 p.m. on June 24th, the three left for Cartagena with the truck loaded. Examination of the cabin after the horrific accident did show child-oriented cassettes and boy clothes in the back, but absolutely no trace of Juan. Many people from the community band together to search for Juan, digging through the sand and lime that was put down, as well as searching through the rubble and surrounding area, but found nothing. While some believe that Juan was completely dissolved by the sulfuric acid, chemists maintain that there is no way the acid could have dissolved his body that quickly and left no trace. Many tests were done and it was found that even if his body had landed in a ditch and acted as a tub, it would take 24 hours for the soft tissue to be lost and 5 days for the bones to be damaged, but the hair, nails, teeth, and some clothing should still be found. The truck's tachometer was intact and showed that they had reached their scheduled stops, including a stop at a gas station and the Aragon Inn. A waiter recalled the family and said they came and went without incident. It was also found, however, that following the inn, the truck made 12 extremely short stops during the ascension of the pass, with the shortest lasting less than 1 second, and the longest one near the peak lasting 20 seconds. Truckers that usually drive that route say that they usually make 1 stop at most, and 2 is a waste of time. Furthermore, there was no traffic jam that would explain the odd stops. Examination of the truck showed that the brakes were not damaged, which means Andre's speed was voluntarily. The trucker that was run off the road stated that he saw a white Nissan van stop by his vehicle immediately after the accident. At that time, a man with a mustache and a foreign accent got out with a blonde woman. He was told not to worry, that she was a nurse. She checked his injuries, then moved on to the vehicle that hit the Volvo head-on and was never seen again. It was also said that 2 shepherds saw the white van stop by the Volvo. A Nordic-looking man and a woman stepped out dressed in doctor clothing. They picked up a package from the wreckage and disappeared. The police attempted to locate these shepherds, but found none in the area that saw the accident. To this day, there has been no trace of Juan Pedro ever found. There are countless theories, but none proven true. The circumstances surrounding each disappearance are extremely bizarre, and many of the crimes have yet to be solved. If you have any information, please contact your local law authorities. But I've been just plain creepy, and I'll catch you in the next video.